YouTube world? My name is Nicholas Montez, and you're watching my YouTube channel, Nicholas Montez. Welcome back to another YouTube channel video, everybody. I'm so excited to have y'all back here together again. And in today's video, we're going to be discussing the last episode of Monsters at Work. I'm going to be honest with you right here and there. I'm kind of glad that this series is over, just because I was very excited for it, and all the episodes just seem just there to watch. And it's not like the Marvel series where every episode just keeps colliding and keeps getting bigger. That's not what this series is. But I do have some thoughts on this episode. But before we get talking about this episode, in the finale, let's just kind of talk about what were my thoughts going into it, and what are my thoughts on the season as a whole. Because I kind of didn't make that part, so I'm going to include my thoughts on the season as a whole in the next part that we go through. Okay, so for me, when I was going into this series, I didn't really know what to expect. All I knew is that it was going to be a continuation of something with Monsters, Inc. And it was going to continue after the events of Monsters, Inc. Now that they have laugh power and all of this stuff. And if you think about it, it actually takes place before the ending of when Mike does that first joke with the kid, and Sully goes sees Boo again. So it takes place before all of that, and it lets it have it for the last episode. Spoiler alert as we get in my review. But going into this series, I love the first Monsters Inc. Monsters University was a good prequel. Had some interesting characters. It was a fun concept. But Monsters Inc. was the right film for the right time. An original story. And I loved it. And I wanted to see would the world continue with them doing laugh power and introducing these new characters. It didn't really have the biggest impact on me, but my thoughts on the series as a whole just kind of feel like it's been a letdown. The first sort of 3-ish episodes were probably the ones that did it for me, and then this episode did it for me as well, which you'll hear in a minute. But the whole series just feels so inconsequential, and this is one of my least favorite things that the Monsters Inc. franchise has ever put out. It's probably my least favorite thing. Now, is it the worst? It's technically at the bottom of the list, but it's still my least favorite, so I guess that says by a lot. But now let's talk about my score for the episode. I don't really know what score I would give it, probably like a B-, just because of enjoyability factor with the characters and stuff. But as an actual show itself, I can't really give it much. But now let's just talk about the episode as a whole. Okay, so as the finale of this episode, this is definitely the best one. Now, is it the best episode of Disney Plus TV? No. But as the last episode of Monsters at Work, the way to close everything out, it closes it out very nicely. So wait, hang on. I have to pick up something. Hang on. Sorry, some paper dropped and I don't know how that happened. Anyways, so really when you enter this show, you focus on this character named Tyler Tuskman, which we see him at testing out a scaring simulator at Monsters University with Professor Knight, and then he gets accepted into Monsters Inc. And technically, the note that he got from Mr. Water News was before his arrest, that when Mike and Sully found out about the Scream Extractor, and they basically wanted to use it on kids so that way they could have Scream for their power. And despite all the events that happened in Monsters Inc., I thought it was like a plot line, and it's kind of clever in the way they were gonna do it, in thinking that he was gonna just come there to scare and do the best thing for the Monstropolis But then he realizes, oh, wait. We're now laughing. We're now jokesters. We're not scarers anymore. And it makes sense in light of what's going on, because the reason why they switched to laugh power is because of what happened that day when Sully scared Boo. When Mr. Waternews brought Sully into the simulator, he told him to roar. Boo was there, and she got scared, and the fear in her eyes that Sully saw was just terrifying, and the pictures that he saw in the cameras, it was terrifying for him, and it was like, we need to find a new way of how to give power to the city without hurting or scaring these kids, because I don't like what I saw in me, and I don't like what I saw with her. So I thought that was just a little cool character arc with Sully, and as giving laugh power to the city of Monstropolis is the right thing to do. I like that plot line a lot, and I like the little relationship that Tyler and Sully have together. Another thing that I kind of liked is that, in light of the events of the Little Monsters episode, where it's basically take your kid to work day for Monsters Inc. They Tyler, the woman that's played by Bonnie Hunt, she doesn't accept it, and basically at the end of that episode, it continues that plotline, and it actually happens where you actually get to see Tyler Tuskman become a jokester, and Mike says he has one more door for him, and he can actually probably could become a jokester, and which basically is almost time for him to say goodbye to his Miffed crew, and I think it tells a pretty good story with that. Kind of saying goodbye to these characters is kind of fun and cool. I was surprised that the Abominable Snowman didn't make an appearance, but it makes sense in light of the sequence that happens at the end of Monsters Inc., where he never appeared and he was still in the banished world. But I thought it made sense in light of the events that happened. And then Tyler Tuskman just has a satisfying character arc. I thought that his character arc of becoming a jokester instead of a scarer was just good. And then the little thing that they do with the girl that's played by Mindy Kaling, the girl that plays Disgust in Inside Out, where she actually becomes Tyler's assistant on the laugh floor, where they actually bring some of the Miffed spirit on the laugh floor. It's just a clever idea, and it closes out the relationship very nicely. So I thought that this was a very good episode, and it closed out a show that, while I didn't really care about as much as I went into it, I still enjoyed the conclusion to this episode, into this series. So that's the good on this one. Now let's kind of talk about the bad on this. And when we get into the bad, there's just some parts that just feel inconsequential. I just feel like some scenes just didn't need to be in here. Like having one of the guys take the canisters, a canister from a dumpster, just, they didn't need to put that scene in. As the show is built for funniness, this whole episode didn't need to be having the canister from the dumpster. I think if they took that joke out, it probably would have been the better episode. But that's just a little minor, inconsequential. And likewise, I don't know. I don't think I have any other problems. I would say that this is actually one of the best episodes this show has to offer, and probably the first episode that I actually loved. And it's not just because I was tired of this series. It was just because I thought it was a good conclusion to the series. So that's my review for Monsters at Work episode 10. Before I give my final score, be sure to tell down below what were your thoughts on Monsters at Work episode 10. Did you guys love it? Did you guys hate it? We're right there between. And what were your thoughts on the whole series down below? Just tell me down below in the comment section, if there is a comment section, because my comment section gets taken down for some reason. I don't know if there's a hacker coming into it and doing it, but there are some videos that you can definitely, that have the comment section that you could definitely comment on there. But anyways, let's get on with my scores. Alright, so that's it for my scores. Thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. My Instagram is Marvel6 and my TikTok name is Marvel1Fan. If you guys don't understand those names, head to my bad section to follow me on all social medias. I'm also on Letterboxd. It's the same as Instagram, Marvel_6_, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye-bye.